Hello, Michal.
Hi, Max.
So today we're going to talk about your personal motivation and health informatics and your daily job, basically. So let's start with your background. How did you end up doing what you're doing today, which is health informatics?
So as a teenager, I started to become more interested in math. So it was natural for me to go to the university and study math and computer science. And then after that, I had to go to the army in Israel. You have to serve for several years. I was in a technological unit working on cybersecurity. But then I started to think about what I want to study next. And I started to search for fields, and then I came across biomedical research, and what I like about it is that on the one hand you're studying very important problems like the mystery of life and human diseases, but on the other hand the problem that we are studying are very interesting from the computational perspective. So after I did my master and then later on a PhD in computer science focusing on computational biology, I joined the IBM Research Lab in Haifa, and since then I've been working on various projects related to healthcare data mining, working on different diseases. And what I like most about my work, that at the end the ultimate goal is trying to understand how to improve the well-being of patients, and this is a notable, I think, purpose to work hard for.
So you're working for a big private company and you're doing a lot of health informatics research. Can you tell us a little bit about how that works?
So I think what is good in big company that we have a community of researchers. So I'm not working alone. I always collaborate with other people. I can always consult with other people. And also we always in our project we have somebody from the healthcare domain that also help us interpret our data. So we have more, I think, resources in big companies to do effective research.
And the unique thing, as I understand about your job, is that you're really focusing on research, right? And you're not in the university, right? You're in a very large private company, but you're doing the research. So how does that work?
So the research we're doing, so it has some goal in order to, it has some business value, and we're not doing just basic research, although part of our research is always basic. So for example, we're working with pharma companies, trying to help them target the population for which the drugs is most suitable or appropriate for. And we work with government in order to try to build strategies for treating people, different healthcare solutions. So we are working with clients, so we are guided with, there is a motto of IBM, innovation that matters. But at the end, once we formulate the problem, then we are doing research, like people do in the university.
Right. So the model is that a government agency, right, or a private company will come and team up with IBM to solve important problems that they have at hand.
Yeah, so we have collaboration also with universities and with European consortiums working on different problems, and then you have people from different disciplines collaborating together in order to solve problem and work on the project and have good results.
So it sounds like in your work you have to collaborate with lots of different people from different backgrounds, different disciplines. So who are you working with on the daily basis?
On the daily basis, I work with people from my group. These are mostly computational people, but we have, preferably it would be on daily basis. Usually, in my project, it's weekly, meetings with healthcare experts that help us, analyze the results that we have, and also, sometimes we iterate on the problem, and define it differently, and they help us in this process on, how to, form, the computational problem from the data itself.
There are really complex problems, right, that you're tackling, so you
Most
really
complex, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are all complex. There are so many measurements. Of course, we don't have them all, but they are growing and growing. All the different things that we now have available on people. So it's not just clinical tests. It's also how they behave, how they interact with the medical system. So it's also informative for us to learn on patients. And of course, in future, we anticipate to have more data on the genome, on the surrounding wearables, on medical devices. So there are just more and more plenty opportunity for doing interesting research in biomedical field.
So it sounds like the problems that you are dealing with are very complex, and we really want to learn more about your daily duties, right? And what do you do on a daily basis?
So most of my day, is dedicated to implementing, algorithm and debugging code. So writing code, this is our most basic tool that we use in the work. So this is hard work and it takes most of the time, debugging the code, viewing the results. But the other part that, of course, that when we meet with other people and discuss together the results and come up with new ideas and for our research and also for future research.
So it sounds like IBM has a lot of infrastructure in place to support publishing and also applying for patents, intellectual property. So how does that work?
I think, IBM is a wonderful place for creativity. We're rewarded, for publication that we have and patents that we issue, and there is a whole system to support us and help us issue more patents. And, IBM, I think, is number one, in the companies of issuing patents. And there are, a part of, we have projects with clients, but there are also projects that are more far-reaching research, where we are trying to aim higher into places where people didn't do research yet, and this is where we are, we are not, again, obliged to a certain client, and we are more free to do basic research that we believe can have some benefit for the future. And moreover, we would like to make our research more accessible to other people. So in my group, we also work on, developing tools that will make it easier for people to do data mining of healthcare data.
What are some of the highlights of your daily job, and what's your personal motivation to do those things?
Okay, so I said that there are two sides of my enjoyment of my work. So first there is the side that, when we view the results, and then we are very excited when we see something that we know that is important, because, when you do data mining, most of the results that you have in the process are not interesting, and then you iteratively refine your analysis till you get to something that is more, isolated and good. So there is one aspect of getting, into exciting results, and the other aspect is, of course, working on really interesting computational problems and being able also to publish the method that we do in international conferences and in journals.
Yeah, and what is the future of roles like you? Like, what do you see in the future?
So the future is very bright. The opportunities for us to make more interesting research, and analyze more data. The challenges that we face are just getting, harder and harder. You would think that maybe you'll solve everything, but no. When we do more research, then we also acknowledge that there are more problems and more issues to take into account. So it's very interesting and very, I think, hot place to be today, because I think this field of biomedical research is relatively young, and major discovery, I think, are just ahead of us.
Thank you very much, Michal. I learned a lot, and that's a fascinating job that you're doing.
Thank you very much, Max.